What's up, guys and gals? Welcome back to the Nerd Castle. Today in the world of indie games, we're going to be checking back in on a title that we covered a little over a year ago called The Monster Breeder. This is a very, very unique strategy RPG. You guys know that I have a particular attraction for strategy RPGs, and this is one of the weirder ones. Now, during today's gameplay, you're going to be like, this game looks really asset-y. What's up with that? Well, the fact of the matter is this is actually a really in-depth game that's made by one guy, and something had to give somewhere inside of budgetary constraints. And so anyways, this game is kind of like War Sim, like Realms of Azlona, or any of those games where they're really, really focused on being a really good game first, and then the graphics are kind of like a secondary component. So, if you see things that look asset-y or whatever along the way, that's because they kind of are. The developer is making do with what he has all by his lonesome. But The Monster Breeder is an in-depth game about, you know, like when in gladiatorial movies or like documentaries, they're like fighting the tigers, and they're like fighting elephants and like doing all kinds of stuff like that. In this game, you are the guy that breeds the elephants and the tigers, and you train them. And the additive thing here is that this is in a magical realm where sorcery and alchemy exist, so you can crossbreed animals of all. You can make like a elephant-tiger hybrid if you want by using stabilizing magics to allow them to like breed and create things that are on the in-between of their species. And so this is one of those games that like it keeps getting more stuff added to it, and it doesn't look like much, so I think most people skip over the top of it. But this is in fact a game that has a lot of stuff you can do with kind of like a day-to-day XCOM format of like, what arena do you want to fight in, what monsters do you want to use, you know, what traits and perks do you want to crossbreed to keep inside this bloodline, things like that, so that you can become the ultimate monster breeder, and just like in Pokemon, collect all of the badges. So let's go ahead and jump on into a save that I've I guess I've probably said pre-prepared, but I guess I've prepared ahead of time for you. That way, we don't have to go through super early game stuff. We're still like in the early game, so that the concepts are nice and simple that I'm going to be explaining. We don't want to start a video way too late, because at that point you're going to be dragging and dropping and breeding and doing blood transfusions and surgeries and things, and it's going to like freak people out. So let's get to the basic gameplay today for about 30 minutes, see if this is something you wanted to add to your wish list or otherwise pass on. If after watching this you did indeed want to get the game for yourself, there's a link for you down below in the description. It continues onwards in early access. On top of that, you can also take a look down there to my Twitch stream, and also take a look at my Discord, where you're welcome to join me on either of those. I stream quite a bit more. I probably spend about 25-30 hours a week streaming. I probably spend roughly the same amount making videos, but you get like 3.5 hours of videos a week, but you probably get about 30 hours of streaming a week. So check that out. Let's go ahead and take a look at the game. So this is where you start out. You are a lesser noble, someone that has some basic land and some basic area that you can make use of in order to start your monster breeding business. As of right now, I have an old keep. It's only one floor for right now. I live inside of there. My employees live inside of there. For each of these buildings that you build in kind of like this old school, I guess, Might and Magic 3 sort of diorama, I guess. You can look at these icons and it tells you who lives there. So we have 2 slots for blacksmiths, 1 slot for an alchemist. We have 4 beds for ourselves and employees. We have room for 6 monsters. 35 items can be stored, and 4 hatchlings can be inside the keep. You can also modify that stuff if you want to. Every single one of these rooms can be renovated for free to do something else. So if you ever need to change things around, you can absolutely do that. On the grounds, you can also build other things. So there's like monster chambers, and there's like kennels and things like that. These things do have multiple levels of upgrades. They will get bigger and bigger with more like sub-rooms inside of them. Why does it matter what the accommodations look like? Well, I'll tell you, because here inside my monster kennel, the temperature and the month that it is dictates what it feels like right now. So if you look at the top of the screen, it's April, and it's mild right now as far as the temperature goes, and it's humid. That matters because if we go to our monster menu and we take a look at, let's look at Hugglebeast right here. Hugglebeast has preferences for what Hugglebeast wants, all right? The good news is Hugglebeast is a wolf, so wolves can go anywhere. Wolves are kind of like one of those things where they are, I suppose, the bare basic wheat of your business, them and rats. You kind of use them to throw in fights wherever. You're not supposed to get attached to them. I actually just purchased my first expensive monster too, which is a black var anus. And so I think this is going to be like pretty dope, dude. He's got really good HP. He's got pretty good strength. He regenerates every turn. All of your creatures have different attributes like damage they deal. They have, you know, different things that they're afraid of. So you know how sometimes in like a movie, a guy will take a torch and like wave it at a bunch of bugs and they're like, wee, and they like back up? Well, in this game, it's the same way. Characters can do exactly that. And then they've got skill trees that you can advance that make them better at certain things or make them less afraid of fire or stuff like that so that you can make up for their weaknesses. Nonetheless, let me show you where the action's at. We're going to start out strong here because, oh yeah, I have a character too, by the way. This is my character. You get full-on equipment. This is your training regimen right here and how much it's going to increase your stats day by day. I actually need to work on my strength, I think, for the most part. So I think I'll probably put most of it into strength this year because I want to get stronger because I can't wear armor. And all my opponents have, like, cool paladin-looking armor, and I can't wear any of it. And I just look like a fool walking around my leather armor like an idiot. And so, like, I want my gear back, dude. I want my gear back real bad. Your character also has talent trees that can be slid and advanced as they get skill points from fighting, training, stuff like that. My guy's more or less maxed out on his encumbrance right now, which sucks because I have a quaff over here that I could put on. You can also hire other humans. This game is not limited to monsters. However, you cannot breed the humans for traits. That's generally considered, given history, to be in poor taste. So you can have other warriors, you can have wizards, you can have guys throwing potions full of like Molotov cocktail fluids in there too, fighting alongside your monsters, and in fact you will have to do that because I got this tournament ready so that you guys can take a look. There's a bunch of different tournaments that you can undertake, and they tell you exactly what they are. So Mandibles and Claws is going to be what looks like, I guess, a whole bunch of beasts versus a whole bunch of insects. So these insects will go up against like dogs, rats, wolves, anything that's kind of like a mammal or a carnivore, basically. There's range of combat. This one right here is going to be warriors. This is actually a human v human fight right here, and all these guys are randomly procedurally generated with their stats, which means sometimes you can get really, really good paychecks for really easy fights. I've got one right here where they've got a rat, they've got an insect, and they've got a guy named Benedict the Large. Benedict's got decent equipment. He's looking pretty solid right here. I don't think the guy's going to suffer too much. This guy's also got Manhunter as one of his perks. This is a non-lethal combat. It does look like I can actually increase the amount of combatants too to make them like harder or easier, just in case you're early on. So this game has tailorable details right here. Our characters are pretty low level, so I'm actually going to put this back to level 1 since I have to fight in this. I haven't gotten to fight very often, and so I'm level 1, and I'd prefer for this fight to kind of be like a gimme. So we'll put Cuddles in there, we'll put Huggy Beast in there, and we'll start the battle. Now, this game has manual fights, and this game has auto combat fights. The fights that are manual, they're not much to look at, but you will want to do them yourself. The auto-resolve in this game is actually reasonably decent. The auto-resolve has not surprised me yet in the last couple hours I've spent playing the game. The auto-resolve has mostly been okay. If it says that I have a probable victory, you probably win. Maybe you lose one monster if it's a lethal fight. Maybe you get one wounded monster if it's a non-lethal fight. But the probable victories seem to come out. The unprobable victories don't seem to. Just really kind of comes down to that. The arenas do have different hazards. So, for example, a creature that's really strong versus poison would have nothing to worry about on this map and could kind of like set up traps inside areas where the other team didn't want to fight. And in fact, if you wanted to focus on doing just Venom tournaments and getting stronger and stronger and stronger at that, you can do that. You can breed your creatures to be especially resilient to something like poison, so that when the poison tournament comes around every single year, you're in a position where you have maximum advantage. Off goes his little creatures. I have no idea what that thing is right there. As you can see, everything in this game is kind of utilitarian when it comes to the presentational aspects. I'm okay with it because I play ASCII games, so like it's not that big of a deal to me. I hope he doesn't step on that landmine, dude. That's really gonna... I think that's a landmine anyways. He's gonna step on it, isn't he? Okay, we're not in too bad a shape. All of my dogs are manhunters. What that means is they're really, really good at fighting humans. So what we want to do here is we kind of want to flank around And we want to get into a position like that with that dog. And we want this one right here to go ahead and grab this guy's attention. It looks like he's got a chance, a 34% chance to block, 14% chance to dodge. I have an 81% chance to dodge, so we're going to go ahead and do that. He didn't counterattack right there. Let's go ahead and pull the whole fight kind of in this direction, I suppose. Big dodge right there. You love to see it. Not a lot of sound effects to the game either. I actually think it could use a few more sound effects. Snarls, bites, you know, ripping and tearing sounds, stuff like that. Our characters have been struck with fear. That's unfortunate. That means we've lost a little bit of AP. Let's go ahead and bite him. He's now defenseless, and he doesn't have enough energy to counterattack. We're going to get in behind him, and then we're going to bite him again. There's another big bite. He's at half HP. This guy has now been locked down. That's kind of unfortunate, but we'll let him take a swing. Big counterattack with a dodge right there. Love to see it. Life's going pretty well so far in this fight. I'm pretty happy with this. Now, the meters above these guys' heads, that's their HP and their energy. Everything in this game costs energy, whether it's passive or not. If you actively attack the enemy, well, it costs energy. If you passively block the enemy's attack, costs energy. Every single character can level up different trees that make it so you gain more energy per turn or you have more energy capacity. But for right now, most of these guys are pretty new, and most of them are kind of like underdeveloped in that regard. I was trying to get my guys to the point where the amount of AP that they have would actually allow them to attack twice, but I haven't been so lucky so far. I wish that I was lucky like that, but I haven't been lucky like that. Went and bypass the turn. Big attack right there. He dodged it. Nice. Attack right there for 4 damage, but a counterattack for 5 with a bleed. 5 damage out right there to him with a 5 damage counterattack. Let's go ahead and swing on this guy. He dodged it. Unfortunate. Doesn't look like I have enough right now for another AP swing. Yeah, we've only got 10 action points. Let's keep up on this guy. Hey, these guys have a special ability that causes, so there's a chance with these characters that they will do a thing called pack attack. If you have multiple wolves surrounding one target and they all have him targeted, they'll all attack simultaneously. I don't know what benefit that gives you, but it seems to really, really upset the enemy. They don't like to seem to deal with it. So, you know, I'll take it. I think we're good here. You get attack of opportunities on any move in this game, so keep that in mind. Once your character has joined base contact with the enemy, they can never move again until that combat is resolved without an attack of opportunity. So this is not one of those games where you can gain adjacency and then just walk in circles around them effectively if you're the one that they're engaged with. Now, we're lucky enough. This guy right here is engaged to this guy, so this guy can move around freely as he desires. He's also making an unseen attack right now, which is also a pack attack for big damage, which is really nice. So that's good, and he's grabbed that guy's attention. Unseen attacks in this game are undodgeable, so if anybody attacks you from the rear flanks or from the rear, you automatically get hit. You get no block, you get no parry, you get no nothing. You just get smacked. And so positional relevance does matter in this game, and you will want to pay attention to it. My character needs, like, accuracy buffs, I think. Oof, big bites right there. This little guy right here is kind of a little Hellraiser. What is he? A rat hybrid with maybe... He looks like a hybrid rat with a hellhound, maybe? I don't know. That's about all the information that I have on him. It just says that he's a rat hybrid. But from his coloration, I think he must be crossed with a hellhound, which is why he's being such a headache right now. Big bites right there. He's going down slow. Big hit right there. Human beings in this game tend to hit pretty hard because they've actually got like full-on bronze and steel weapons and things that cut through flesh pretty aggressively. But this is what the battles look like. I actually haven't been playing most of the battles. I've been auto-resolving like just about everything in this game, unless the fight is like super required that I finish it off like right this second. Down goes the enemy, and we are good. We've defeated our opponents. And it looks like actually Cuddles got the melee badge. So perform 5 melee hits without a single miss. a free skill point right there. So you get accolades as well for your various warriors and for your various creatures that will allow them to get stronger. I like that. Weaponized achievements like that are really cool. They give a player something to shoot for. When you win a fight, you get money. You can see our money up there. You also get reputation. I'm not exactly sure what reputation affects just yet. It has not been relevant while I've been playing the game, and so I haven't learned. There's my Hellhound, by the way. My Hellhound has 1 turn until he grows up. And in fact, I need to make sure I've got room for him in the wolf cage. I do. I have room for him in the wolf cage. You can store creatures together that are of a similar type. However, if they are different in size or different in diet, this game has herbivores, omnivores, carnivores. If you put a carnivore in the herbivore tank and the herbivores are smaller than that carnivore, they're going to fight. So the big creature's going to attack the little ones and injure them in between turns, and then they're going to need time with the surgeon to feel better or to get better. And speaking of which, there's all kinds of crazy stuff you can do in this game. I'll show you. For example, you can sell a monster. You can do surgery on a monster. What's that? You can do organ removals, organ transplantation. You can do combat surgeries. We've got blood transfusions over here. We can transfuse blood out of creatures to transfuse it into other creatures that have, like, blood loss that's been inflicted on them, stuff like that. It's almost like there's a number of, like, veterinarian things you can do in this game. Like, you're supposed to care about your creatures. Like, these are not just animals that you're sending in the fray to, like, brawl and fight. You're supposed to be making them better. You're supposed to make them stronger. So, for example, why would I transplant an organ? Let me find one of my creatures that has kind of like a cool ability. I actually may not have one right now. I had a creature earlier that came out. This guy has like a... You see how he has a little lightning around his mouth? He has a little lightning around his mouth, so I think he has a shock organ. Yeah, he does. So you can basically remove his shock organ, and you could transplant it into another creature if they already had a bunch of bonuses to, like, shock damage. So it's also not a bad idea to kind of have, like, smaller creatures, like so. So we unlocked research by doing that. Unfortunately, because I vivisected my rat, he's now dead. He doesn't exist anymore, so I gotta buy another one. We haven't learned how to do anesthesia or anything yet. And in fact, you have to do vivisections because this game is set kind of in the low medieval age, where people are still using bronze and iron tools and things like that. You have to vivisect some animals before you're gonna be able to actually do it safely without killing them. And so that's kind of the first step. It unlocks this research tree over here. Then... I can go combat surgery, for example. I could do transplantation. I could do organ removal. So let's start off with organ removal so that we get better at it. Over here, we could recruit some more warriors if we actually just wanted to do flat gladiatorial combat with our various characters. This guy has 3 skill points ready to go. I think my budget's a little rough right now, though. Yeah, so we're losing like $400 per turn right now. So we're a little bit, you know, we want to be careful about things. Storage sheds and lodgings. What do I need right now? I mean, honestly, I'd like to give the blacksmith their own place to work or increase the size of the monster chamber. That's really expensive, though. I could open up another wing of the keep and see what that gives me. Or I could unlock... Let's do the second floor of the keep. Why not? Yeah, we'll get a second floor on the keep. That sounds pretty good to me. With the rest of our money that we have rattling around, I need to go to the shop, and I need to buy another rat. Oh, there's a bear over here? 37 HP. Wow, he looks pretty good, dude. And he eats 70% plants, so he's not that expensive to upkeep. Plants are free in this game. It's only meat that causes you money. You can feed your creatures different meats, by the way. It'll increase their chances of getting bonuses versus certain enemies. So if you feed, like, a wolf a ton of reptile meat, he will like to fight reptiles a lot more and be less afraid of them because he identifies them as, like, an edible object. We do need a female rat, I think, so I can keep my rat breeding going, but I don't think we have a female rat right now. It's kind of a bummer, but I do want to take the bear. Yeah, give me the bear. I want the bear. Let's load the bear up. It seems like the AI likes to use a lot of insects, too, so we'll get a bunch of insect meat over here. You can set up what you want to feed this little guy if you wanted to. So you can feed him differentiating amounts of food, so you can give him double or triple rations. That'll make him a lot stronger. It also makes him tamer. Your animals need to have a certain level of tameness. in order to fight non-lethal fights. So that's just a thing you'll want to keep an eye on. You can also feed them magic potions that you can brew yourself or buy from various shops to increase their stats. So like if we wanted to give this guy a swiftness potion, we could do that. And what you'll see here is that his agility will go up. Now there is a limit to the amount of things you can do with a creature. You see how it says abomination increases right there? There's a chance your creatures will develop something called an abomination. And it's not good. You need like advanced surgical procedures and lots of magic and potions to get rid of it if it happens. And you kind of want to avoid it. But it will occur from time to time. Our other option here is that we could add a tameness potion maybe. And it would get 26% more tame. He's got 6 turns, which means I think his tameness is going to go perfectly fine without it. By my head math. 42? Yeah, so he's good. He only needs 27, so technically that potion's a waste. But there, you can see like your thought processes in this game. Even with your hatchlings, you can see your processes. Like, how do I make this creature go the distance? You know what I mean? How do I make this creature useful to me? If I feed him a healing potion, you know what I mean? What happens? He just gets abomination. But if I give him agility potion right there, I'm making up for one of his weaknesses. It specifically said in the card that this is a slow but strong monster. So what if I just feed him lots of agility potions the entire time? Maybe I could end up with a bear that's ridiculously agile, you know? We can put some insect meat in there. I would suggest maybe putting in some reptilian meat too. The downside is you can't really get human meat. You got to take a perk for your characters to be really good at killing humans. This guy over here, I completely forgot to load him up with anything, and I feel a little guilty about it. We'll give him a stone skin potion maybe. What's that going to do for him? It makes him more tolerant to dry environments. And physical protection goes up by 1.8. Oh, we need the tameness potion on him. I almost didn't catch it. I wasn't paying attention. There we go. We'll give him the tameness potion. Now, when you're done with all the things you want to do on a daily basis, by the way, Cuddles leveled up. Cuddles is specialized on being very fast and being able to move across the entire battlefield very, very easily. Cuddles is also specialized in humans. Cuddles gets plus 30% chance to hit against human beings, and has a plus 30% chance to dodge against human beings. So Cuddles should really only ever fight human beings. This is Cuddles' second name, by the way. My first name for Cuddles was Don't Worry, He's Friendly, which I thought was kind of funnier because everybody's got that buddy that's got a dog that looks exactly like this. Dude, I swear to God, when I was in college, one of my buddies that lived across the apartment complex from me, he had this Mastiff that was probably like 140 pounds, dude. Just the biggest Mastiff I've ever seen in my life. Just a foul-tempered kid of a dog, dude. It only liked him. And, like, there's a difference between somebody's, like, Shiba Inu sitting in the corner not liking you. And to be fair, his dog never did anything, but we would be sitting in the living room doing, like, bong rips, you know, and his dog would just sit in the corner and would just stare at me and just my buddy'd be like, oh, shut up, he's nice. And the dog would sit there and look at the floor for a second. Like, after a while, the dog got used to me, so she was friendly. And in fact, at a certain point, when I go over to the house, she would growl at people who weren't me, and she was fine with me and would, like, sit next to me and put her head on my lap and whatnot. But she definitely had a mean streak, and it always reminds me when the first time I went over to his house and that dog sitting there growling, just staring me in my eye. And he's like, don't worry about it. She's friendly, bro. Like, dude, the dog weighs more than you do. Are you sure? Are you absolutely sure? I'm just going to feed some prisoners to my animals real fast so that we have a little bit of income this week and a little bit of XP this week. We will start the battle. We will auto combat it. We got $120 for every animal we use to execute a criminal. It'll give you the stats of what happened in the simulated combat down here. If they get a level up, it'll tell you. Basically, I auto resolve with the stuff that doesn't matter. Every single day there's going to be quests and things on this side. So people will come to you and ask for your patronage, or they'll want you to destroy a monster lair or something like that. I skipped one of them right there, but they exist. We've got a guild fair today. You can click right on these, which is good quality of life. It will give you a pop-up of what happened. This is the guild fair over here, and it looks like there are a number of rune stones around. So these rune stones, when you get further on into the game, there's like slots that you put these in, and they sort of just effervesce magic inside the area where you're housing your monsters, and it sort of like attunes them, basically. You can also get sort of like magic spells that you can use on juveniles. You can get eggs. So this is an egg for a Reaper Dragon, I guess. I don't think I have a hatchery, so I probably wouldn't get the Reaper Dragon. It looks like when it grows up, it's got 34 HP. That might just be the egg, though, in all honesty. Damage capacity of 540. Wow. A panther's kind of cool. Oh, there's a snow bear over here. Is mine a male? It is. That's a female. We could breed it with our bear, and then we could end up with a never-ending supply of bears. You kind of want to become self-sufficient because your animals have a life cycle in this game. It's got how old they are versus how long they live. And at a certain point, they'll become geriatric, and like they won't be helpful anymore, basically. Let's take a look at this hellhound that just grew up. So 28 right there. Fire skin, which is pretty cool. Does that mean the fire skin comes from, okay, a fire organ? Gotcha. And then from there, does this guy do anything different from all the other homies? Looks like he's more or less the same, except for the fire skin. So anytime somebody hits him, he's got a really strong chance to deal 8 damage. Cool. I'm all right with it. I'm down with the process, man. What's up with the Varanus? He's slightly dry. He's suffering from dehydration. Oh. I mean, I could put Squeak outside, and I can put him inside there. There we go. I think we're good now. He should be happy. That's right, you gotta take environmental factors into effect too. But just so many cool little details with this game if you can get over the fact that the graphics are not quite so great. And in fact, the developer is overhauling all the graphics right now, step by step, which is why I decided to recover the game, is because he's realized that that's kind of like a weakness that's keeping away his market share. He's designed a really good RPG here. He sincerely has. Like, this is an RPG with a lot of depth and a lot of things going on. And it's got almost like no storyline from what I've seen so far. You kind of just play the day by day, but there's enough things that it keeps you mentally occupied where you're like, well, what do I want to do right now? You know, 6 combatants on this one. Almost all humans. I do have a lot of monsters that are pretty strong versus humans, and it's non-lethal. My character leveled up his strength after I passed a turn or two, and so I can fit a helmet on him right now. I'm just kind of like strength training him at the moment. I need this guy's strength to get up there. By the way, your character gets old and dies too, by the way. Your character is also subject to the passage of time. It kind of is what it is. A fire tournament A. What you guys got over here for like lobby combatants? Got some lizards. There's a dragon. There's a couple of guys that are just two-handed warriors, but not with the greatest HP. We can probably throw down on this, especially because both Hugglebeast and Cuddles are specialized in fighting humans. Let's bring in the Hellhound for once, too. I'm curious to see how he does. And then I want the Black Varanus as well. A very likely victory on that one. Auto-combat it. Bunch of level ups. Got 24 right there. Got some reputation. Good. We need that cash to come in. That's what covers me for like the next 5 or 6 turns. But as you can see, I mostly just auto-combat everything because this is one of those games that I feel like the auto-combat has actually been kind of like generous. I'd like to be able to double and triple attack on my turn, so I'm going to keep focusing him on increasing his attack. That way, if I can, you know, attack twice, that would be really, really nice, actually. Should probably breed something in here, too. I don't have a potion, though. Hold on, let me go... I haven't hired an alchemist yet. No, I did hire an alchemist. I just don't have the thing that I need to do right now. So we've got healing elixirs, potions of courage. Let's go with a taming potion for right now. And for a taming potion, it looks like I need dark algae. Okay, let's go buy some dark algae over here. Do you have dark algae, sir? No dark algae on this guy, unfortunately. I'm going to go ahead and buy him out of what he has, though. Just in the off chance that we end up needing to craft something. We've got some extra money from that last tourney. So we'll go ahead and just buy out all the things that we need. I may need to construct another storage barn pretty soon. But let's go ahead and like run the gambit with our criminals and whatnot too. You know, feed a couple more critters. to the old fight squad right there to get some basic levels lined up. Over here, we've got an open fight. And I think we could probably try out with the mid difficulty and just sort of see what happens. These guys still don't look altogether that gnarly to me, and I feel like we can take them. All right, having a look at the battlefield. We need to get the mage early. Mage got to go early. So I think it's not the worst idea, actually, to let these guys come to us. Although, if I remember correctly, archers can fight from pretty far back. I don't remember what an archer's range is in this game, but the last time I played it, like a year or so ago when I got into it, I do remember archers firing pretty far. So it may not be a terrible idea to sort of assemble a front over here real quick. I'll flank a guy around real fast and sort of see where that takes us. I think, who's my fastest here? My fastest should run down the mage. I think we should condense the line, and we should bring him up as a guard for anybody that's going to try to flank the wolf. Big swing and a miss. Magic spell on my wolf. That guy's squared up for single combat. That little bug right there is doing little bug stuff. Big attack and a dodge right there on the Varanus. Okay. What's this costing me now? 5? Nice, dude. That means I can attack twice and, like, really gas this guy out. Good. Go ahead and get on the mage. Good attack. Take care of him real quick right there. I don't know exactly what I want to do here. But I definitely feel like that archer needs to go. But then again, we do have a lot of bugs and stuff in the middle field. Attack and a dodge. Big hit right there. No hit back, which is always good. However, these little bugs got chins on them. But yeah, this is the monster breeder. I think this game is really cool, and it's a good example of what I look for in indie games when it comes to stuff that, like, I'm amped about covering. Hey, got him. Didn't get him with the fire aura, though, unfortunately, which is kind of a bummer. But this is kind of what I look for, dude. This is definitely the kind of game where it's got a lot of stuff going on, and it's got a lot of depth, and it makes up for the fact that, like, you know, the graphics are not altogether that great. Who cares? Attack again. He's down, so we've cleared that corridor right there. Big kill right there, too. Maybe I should have stepped up the difficulty a little bit. It's hard to say. Let's get on that archer back there because I don't know if he can actually arch when he's got someone in base contact with him. Big bite right there. Just so much damage coming out of the Varanus right now. All right. Good stuff, man. I think we're pulling it through. I think we've got this one in the bag. Thank you for watching my channel. My name is Splattercat. I sift through the pile to find what's worthwhile in the world of indie games every single day so that you don't have to. This is the Monster Breeder, an exceptionally interesting game, the likes of which there is no other on Steam. There really sincerely isn't. What other game is there on Steam that's like this one? And my answer would be, as a guy that covers games for a living, not really. This one's kind of in a vacuum by itself, doing its own weird thing. And I'm here for it. I support it. Take care, and that's all I got for you, folks. Bye.